Hello, that's football. We're back. We're back with some World Cup football. It feels like a long time, doesn't it? But it's actually only been 2 days. 2 days since England knocked out Colombia. That seemed a long, long time ago. It wasn't, and England will be playing again tomorrow, which will obviously have you live for you. But we're also going to be live here today with France versus Uruguay and Belgium versus Brazil. Arguably, and factually as well, actually. Not arguably, factually, the best day of the quarterfinals. I mean, obviously, tomorrow is massive if you're English, or if you want England to go out, it's massive. But fixtures-wise, these two are definitely the two better games, and we are raring to go for it. No Cavani for Uruguay, which is a little bit disappointing. I don't know whether he's in the same position as James Rodriguez, where he cannot play at all, or whether he's totally okay to be on the subs bench, but he's not starting, which is a little bit disappointing, obviously. But getting a little bit of high CPU usage here, so let me just see if I can resolve that for you, which I should be able to do. That should start dropping any second now, because I'm not using anything else, which is great. Okay. Canal says, how is everyone going? I'm good. It's not coming home, Mark, says Red Devil Dylan. I don't want to talk about England much today, because I'm hoping that Belgium are going to knock Brazil out. This next game's quite an interesting one. I suspect France will win it. But I think, as Happy says, no Cavani equals no Uruguay. I think they're going to struggle a little bit without him, to be honest. And come on, Belgium, says Young Lord. Cavani is not on the bench, says Cathal. I didn't think he would be. You'd have to say he's probably out of the tournament, isn't he? Which is difficult for Uruguay to deal with. Is Sander doing the second game? No, he's not. It's me for both today, because he's out tonight. I rate England, Sweden game over there too. Couldn't care which of today's teams go through, says Bio20. It's all about opinion. It's all about opinion. Morning, Mark, says Mr. D7. Is the Ronaldo deal official, says Annie Academy. I'm not aware of it being official yet. Sander's not been fired. He will be joining me in a moment or two. And hope the French go out. Can't see it though, says Devil's Ace. They've got an advantage today, haven't they? I mean, the semi-final is going to be fantastic, isn't it? I mean, whoever gets through from these two games today, the semi-final next Tuesday night is going to be absolutely amazing. 300 says Cavani is on the bench. Okay, that's good. And the biggest game today is Belgium versus Brazil, says Salim. I agree with you on that. I just have to agree with you on that. I think you are absolutely right. So I'm not going to not. France will need to be at their very best to get past Uruguay's defence, says Kato Ellis. And I think that, for me, is the big thing today. It's about whether the defences can do the business in these games, because that's the most important thing, isn't it? Anyway, we will see. No Cavani is obviously quite important. Rather, though, I just want to draw your attention. If you didn't see yesterday when I was doing my show, we have got a little bit of a promo through Team Huddle, which is free to sign up for. And everybody who signs up will go into the draw to win an international shirt of their choice. The link is in the video description. It's available for you to download. And the great thing of how this works is effectively it's a bit of a predictor game. You can do this. Obviously, you're too late for the quarterfinals, but if you sign up or get it downloaded at least today, you can do it for the semi-finals. What happens is we team up, and I've got my own team, which I'll show you in a minute. You predict the scores, and they do their magic, and then you compete against each other. So effectively, if you use that link in the video description, it will give you an invite to my team, which is the Team Goldbridge, which currently has about 60 people in it, as you can see listed there. And we all compete out against each other, basically off score predictions. So I've gone with a 2-1 win for France today. So we'll keep an eye out on how I'm doing through the game against the people who signed up yesterday for the quarterfinals. But you can download it. The link is in the video description for you to do that. You can also enter the competition for £1 as well. This is a separate element to it. A £1 entry, and there's a £60 jackpot there as well for £1. If you're going to do that, you've got to be over 18. Do gamble responsibly, and it is only for UK-based people. But download it, it's free. You'll go into the Goldbridge team. You can also set your own teams up as well. I could create another team if I wanted to. So if you wanted to compete against my team Goldbridge, you could have Team Anvesh. And then as long as you've got more than 3 people within your team, then all the teams compete against each other as well. So you compete within the team, but you compete against other teams as well. So the link in the video description is there for Team Huddle. Give it a download. Free to play unless you're going to do the competition element of it. And everybody who downloads it and enters my team will go into the draw to win an international shirt of your choice. Maybe you want a Uruguay one. Maybe you want a French one. Maybe you want an England one. It's up to you. Why no Cavani, says BKD Limited. Why no Cavani? Because I presume it's because he's injured, DKD Limited. Yes, that would be the most popular thing. Apparently Uruguay's population is 3.4 million. I find that a little bit hard to believe, but there you go. Remember, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We are doing a watch along for every single game on the World Cup. We've done a lot of the games now already. In fact, there's only 8 to go. If you count the third place game, third place playoff, there's only 8 more games to go. So, but we're at the business end of it now. 8 teams left, 8 games to go. And we will lose another one today. We will know our first semi-finalist in hopefully 3 hours, in a couple of hours' time, maybe 3 hours' time, if we get the penalties, the dreaded penalties again. But I don't think we will do. I think we're going to be okay. Right, that's closed down. Okay, please do share the link as well. Let's see if we can get to 42,200 subscribers today as well. Please do subscribe, share through the share button, and build this fantastic community, which will be continuing next season and every day as well. And we're covering transfers a lot more now as the World Cup thins out a bit. But lots of games. I think we've already highlighted our first Premier League game that we're going to do as a watch-along, which will be on the Sunday, which is probably going to be Liverpool, West Ham, and Arsenal versus Man City. So, Super Sunday looks like it will be. What sort of match, somebody just said there, and thoughts on Golovin, Mark, Annie? Well, maybe we can leave Golovin till tomorrow night because Russia are playing then. Thoughts on this game is that, my thoughts on this game are that, sorry, Matthew, you're right, the live chat had frozen. My thoughts on this game is that you're going to see a very well-organised Uruguay against a French team that likes to hit teams on the break. They won't be able to hit teams on the break in this game, France. Against Argentina, they were against a weak defence and they were against a weak midfield. Today, they've got the opposite. They're going to be up against a well-organised defence, arguably the best defence in the tournament, and a well-organised midfield as well. So France are going to have to work for this. And I just wonder if a Pogba goal from distance or something like that could be the difference. Even Deschamps himself coming out and saying that basically saying that his French team is not quite up to winning this title in so many ways. He said 2 to 4 years we'll be ready, which is ridiculous. I think Deschamps is a bit of a player really, because we are they've got the best squad in the tournament, the whole bloody tournament. So he's talking nonsense. He's talking absolute nonsense. That's what I was trying to get out. So, yeah, I think France having a fantastic chance to win this World Cup. And I think maybe Deschamps is trying to lower the expectations a little bit, when the reality is I don't think anybody is lowering them expectations at all. I think we know full well that France are the favourites to win this game. And they are pretty much one of the 2 big favourites to win the whole tournament. I still think Brazil and France are the 2 teams. Afternoon footy lovers, says Albert Einstein. Mark, are you doing Belgium versus Brazil too? Says Saxon Charles. I am. So well, hopefully you lot will be joining me as well. Mark, how are you feeling that Ronaldo is coming to Juve? Forza Juve, says Ryan Skibaris. Look, for anybody who's... I mean, I know I do the United Stand and I've done that for a lot longer than I've done this, but anybody who's been watching That's Football for the last year will know that I've got a lot of love for Serie A. I've been following it pretty much since Italia 90, all those years ago, when it used to be on Channel 4 on a Saturday morning and a Sunday afternoon. Juventus are my Italian team and always have been. So if Ronaldo goes there, it's just going to enhance my love of Serie A, really, which I think is on the up. So there you go. I'd love him to come back to Manchester United, but for whatever reason, that's not going to happen, is it? So it is what it is. And... But Ronaldo for Juventus is going to be very interesting to watch. There's a little bit of a joint huddle picture going on here, saying no to racism, which is great to see. Especially there was a lot of concern, wasn't there, about Russia and all that. So that's good. Yes, so Bentancur plays, Torreira, who's going to Uruguay, plays, Stuani goes up front with Suarez, and he's no Cavani, is he? But that back four was really, really good, really, really strong, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game. France having to replace Matuidi, which is also of interest as well. And Xander, can you hear me?
I can do, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. You?
I'm not going to say I've woken up from a siesta, but I have. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Obviously, there's no Cavani in this Uruguayan team. Stuani, I was having a little look at him, his replacement, obviously. He plays for Girona in Spain, but I couldn't find any stats on him. But there you go. I think it's going to be an interesting game today, to be honest. You know, obviously, France on paper are the far superior side, but we've seen, Uruguay very, very solid defensively and going to be well organised, difficult to break down. So let's see if Mbappe and Griezmann can have the sort of day that they did against, was it Belgium? Who was it? Who they played last time? Argentina. But, let's wait and see.
It's interesting as well, because there's just a comment in the live comments there about something that I had. Oh, bloody hell, better hurry up and get the timer going here, because I didn't realise we were that close to kick off. I thought we were still had a few minutes. So let me get that on. And then what we'll say is, while I'm setting this up, is that a lot of people had said, oh no, yellow cards are wiped out after the quarterfinals. Before the quarterfinals. You're wrong. When I said it's after the quarterfinals. So I was actually right.
Yeah, because it would be strange to be able to miss the final, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I knew I'd read that before. Anyway, the game's kicked off. Let me just get the timer up for people. Then I'll come back to that, because I know that Paul Pogba is on a yellow card. So let me come back to the live comments as well. So just of interest for people as to who is on a yellow card for this game. Neymar is Neymar's on one, so he could get one, and Paul Pogba is also in the same boat as well. So yeah, keep an eye on for that. I'm sure there's some other players as well, but Neymar and Pogba are sort of the big ones. And we've also got, let me show you as well. The game's kicked off. I'll get you the timer should be running as well. So France have got Giroud, Pavard, Pogba and Tolisso, who is playing instead of Matuidi. Brazil have got Coutinho, Luis and Neymar. Belgium have got De Bruyne, Dendoncker, Meunier, Tielemans. Ekdal and Klaassen for Sweden. And England have got a few now. Henderson, Lingard, Loftus-Cheek and Kyle Walker. But out of interest of this game, really, it's for the French, isn't it? And it's Pogba is the main one, so he wouldn't want to be missing a semi-final.
It's always difficult with a midfielder, isn't it, when they're on a yellow card, because obviously they're going to be right in the middle of the action, obviously. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to stay clean. But he's not really a dirty player, isn't he? So I wouldn't expect him to go biting into tackles. But
there's a Frenchie down injured here. It's Giroud, and I'll tell you what, I've been very tired myself today, and I've sort of like the last couple of days just. A lot of things have obviously changed around the World Cup, but to have it back is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, really, really looking forward to getting back into it, especially 4 games in 2 days. England tomorrow afternoon as well. And, I think going to be very interesting to see what happens with France and Uruguay, because Giroud could be quite interesting, actually, because his heights is something that maybe they haven't used a hell of a lot of so far, because it's been all about Mbappe's pace on the break. But there's no way in a million years I think that Uruguay will get caught like that. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out.
I think if you try and play Uruguay at their own game in terms of try and put balls into the box, they'll win every time. That Godin and Jimenez partnership is quality, isn't it? So yeah. I think the better way to play around with them is pace. And I know there might not be a lot of space in behind for France because Uruguay are so defensively organised. But I think that is the way to beat them, with pace and quick interchangeable play. So.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's interesting. We keep seeing obviously Matuidi on the left, but he's obviously not playing today. We've got Tolisso there, another central midfielder, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's a central midfielder on the left-hand side. So that's a defensive, as we've spoke about before. Obviously, Tolisso can then sort of come in when they need to defend. And provide defensive stability. So it's frustrating to see. I'd like to see Mbappe and Dembele on the same pitch, but that's Deschamps for you. He's got his little ways about him, and that's one of them.
He certainly has. Anyway, Uruguay on the attack here at the moment.
ATV says, are we going to watch the game or not? There's always one, isn't there? We are watching the game, mate. But this is a watch-along. We can't actually show the game due to copyright reasons. So we are watching the game, as is everyone in the comments. So get involved and have your say. But we can't show the game, mate. That's illegal. So.
A good start from Uruguay. As Brendan Shads says, Uruguay have got the ball and they've had the ball for the last couple of minutes or so. It's France dropping off. And I wonder if France are trying to invite Uruguay on so they can hit them on the break. But Uruguay aren't going to be that stupid. They shield their back two with Torreira and the other guy, who I can't remember the name of. But they also missing Cavani as well. They didn't really attack Portugal that much. They caught them on the break. So it'd be interesting to see how Uruguay do today. Mbappe is the new Messi, says Ricky Grimshaw. I don't know. I think Mbappe is your typical World Cup star, really, where people are like, he's the next Messi. He plays in a pub league and he scored a couple of goals against the crap Argentinian defence. When he starts doing it against the top teams, that's when I'll start taking notice of Mbappe. But I still don't massively buy into this. He's way better than Martial or Rashford. I just think he plays in a pub league and he plays in a team that plays to his strengths, whereas those two don't.
I think with Mbappe, I've seen him quite a bit, to be honest, and it's as we all have. But I think with him, he's got fantastic ability on the ball, but it's that end product for him. And I know he's still young, and that will develop and become more consistent as he gets older. But it's that end product, that final pass, that final cross, or the final shot that sometimes lacks a bit of quality. So, but like I said, I'm sure he'll improve with age.
France look shaky, says Archie, and Devil's Ace says France are 6s and 7s at the moment. They haven't started off fantastically well, and Uruguay. I just think Uruguay have never really been fancied in this tournament, but defensively they've been very, very strong. So you get to this stage, and it certainly wouldn't be a shock. Well, it would be a shock, I suppose, but it wouldn't be a massive shock if Uruguay were to knock France out. And I think France will come through this, but I want them to be tested.
Yeah, I think. Well, have you given your prediction yet?
Yeah, I went 2-1 to France.
Yeah, well, just purely just to go against you, just so it makes it a bit more of an interesting stream. I'm going to go Uruguay, and of course, France are the favourites, and we all think that France will win. But there's something about Uruguay in this tournament. They've sort of exceeded expectations, and with that, how solid their defence is, they've always got a chance. So I'm going to go 2-1 Uruguay.
2-1 Uruguay. Well, we'll see.
I do think France are better though, but I just for the sake of the stream. What do you make of that Torreira then? Obviously, he's been heavily linked to Arsenal. He looks like he will be ending up there. I've seen you tweeting now and again, but for the stream, what do you make of Torreira?
I think he's okay. Again, I've only really seen him in the World Cup and a little bit for Sampdoria. I mean, he's an Arsenal sort of signing, to be honest. He's exactly what Arsenal would need, and but I mean, it's so hard to judge somebody on a World Cup. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. But yeah, Uruguay have started. I think they definitely started the better team. More of the ball seemed to be up for it more, but just you wait. If you don't score in the first 10 minutes, Uruguay, France will really grow into the game, and then you've got a problem. How's everyone doing in the comments then? Have you asked them for their predictions yet?
No.
Guys, what do you think is going to happen?
I'm not in practice here at all today.
What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you see France winning like Mark, or are you sort of leaning slightly more towards Uruguay like me? Get in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. And who are your danger men? I think there's obvious ones, but is there anyone me and Mark need to look out for? Just that we might not expect. France to win an extra time. That's from Mark Wilkins. Do you see it going into extra time then today, Mark?
I think it could do. I think it's going to be tight. I mean, I'd be stunned if France were to score 4 or 5 goals. I don't think it's that sort of a game at all. But yeah, I mean, we've seen with France before in the Denmark game, haven't we? That they could be quite dull as well.
Yeah.
So
when the thing is, right, we're all sort of going, You know, France are now. We've seen them play really well against Argentina, but what we forget is Argentina's defence is useless. So you should be battering them with the defence they've got. But when teams have got a decent defence, as we've seen, like you say, with Denmark and Australia, France struggle. So it's interesting to see how they'll deal with this unit today with Uruguay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people going with 2-1s as well and tight games. And I think, maybe even a 1-0. Maybe a 1-0 as well. So Pogba is important in this game because he's the metronome of their side, says Aaron Chen. 2-2 and then France on penalty, says Millie Diver. Mark looks tired, says Phil Mitchell. Yeah, I am very tired today. Very tired. I was up all night with the little one. So.
You need to get those siestas in your life, mate.
I need to get siestas in my... And it's very hot as well, so...
Yeah.
I think France are diving a lot as well.
They do, the French, don't they? If we've got any French viewers, nothing wrong with you. We love you, but
Hernandez has gone down injured here. To be fair, he did catch one. Uruguay are very, very physical team. Remember, subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We're doing watch-alongs for every single World Cup game. 2 for you today. And Nandez just falling on Rodriguez there, but he's up okay. Fernandez, sorry. Nandez falling on Hernandez. There you go. It's not too much of a tongue tire. Darren Sweetman says Uruguay kicking the stuffing out of France already. Well, every little helps.
It's only 10 minutes though, isn't it? Of course, like I said, Uruguay might be the better starter, but France may well grow into the game. So, yeah, we've still got a little while to go before we can properly judge, I think.
Anyway, Griezmann will whip this in from the left-hand side. You'd be amazed if France scored from this because this is Uruguay's bread and butter, as Xander was saying. And although they win the header, it's never a threat and it goes for a goal kick. Ryan Goodwin just talking about England there. Very, very good point about them, saying that England need to step it up tomorrow because they're not going to be playing one of these South American or American or North American, wasn't it, for Panama, gifting penalties for silly fouls in the box. Sweden will be well organised. So most England goals have come from set pieces or corners, which are set pieces. So they need to do things in open play tomorrow. But that's tomorrow. It's also Silverstone this weekend. Again, another F1 weekend. But in relation to this game, a little bit stop-start in the first 10 minutes. And I've got my eyes on Paul Pogba, definitely. Can he produce it in a big game?
But also, because when he play, we've touched on this before,
Good play by Mbappe there.
When he plays for Manchester United, we're all like, you got to play him on the left side of a midfield 3 to properly release him. You're not playing him in the right system, Jose. But if he does it today in that midfield 2, like he did in the last game, that sort of shuts that theory up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then people do often say Kante's like 2 players because he can just do all the hard work. So maybe that's another argument. But I'll be in an airport for the England game. Nightmare. I'll be in some sort of bar somewhere. Mark, you'll love it over here. Got a few good Irish bars, mate. And they go off. Like, there's surprise how so many English people go to these bars. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Well, every city in the world's got an Irish bar, hasn't it? That's the great thing. You can always find an Irish bar.
Yeah. The Irish Rover's the one over here. If you're ever coming to Madrid, it's unbelievable. The scenes, it was just amazing.
Another free kick here, 1 to Uruguay here. Umtiti coming through the back of Luis Suarez.
The ref needs to let it go or get a wig. Well, Mark did say it was a little get a wig. I just seen him. It has been a bit stop-start, hasn't it? Mark, would you like to see the referee play things on slightly more, or are you happy with how he's dealing with it so far?
It was the Portugal-Uruguay referee who let everything go, didn't he? He wouldn't give yellow cards for anything, and we did have quite a bet. I think it is better when refs let them go, but then again, if the fouls are bad, you've got to give the fouls, haven't you? So
yeah. I think the way the referee's doing it at the moment suits Uruguay because it's stopping momentum, isn't it? It's because I think if France get into their stride, they will break down Uruguay. But constant fouls are stopping the momentum. So I think that does probably fall into the favour of Uruguay.
Corner for Uruguay here, anyway.
Now this is a threat, isn't it?
Yeah, this is where they can cause a little bit of damage, I think. Look out for Godin and Jimenez here, says Andy Ramos. So They got up. Lloris punches it away. But yeah, that's something that Uruguay will definitely be looking at, the old set pieces.
Who puts them in?
I think Torreira took that one, the lad who's meant to be going to Arsenal.
Yeah, number 14. That's what I was wondering, whether he can take set pieces.
Keith Fogarty's already said, I hope this match is only 90 minutes. I think France are quite an adaptable team. I think France do adapt to what their opposition is. They're a bit like Manchester United in that sense, that, you know, the Argentina game was really open and there was loads of goals in it. This game, you know, Denmark was just negative and they were negative. This game already is a bit nitpicky and France are like that as well. So, yeah, it's going to be whether Uruguay can score a goal, I suppose.
I think because France have got so many different options, don't they? They have Giroud, but they've also got Griezmann. They've got Dembele, but they've also got Tolisso that can play. You know, so they've got so many options that they can adapt in this sort of tournament football.
Arsenic Gunner in case. Yeah, I saw all that. 300,000 written appeals for the England-Colombia match. It's like Colombians have become the new Liverpool fans. They started a petition for it to get started, to get it played again. I mean, all I'd say is, you know, for all those people who registered, what a waste of your time. Here we go. Oh, my life. What is Mbappe doing there? He's got the freedom of the penalty box. It drops to him, and he tries to head it. He tries to loop head it. He's got so much time. It's unbelievable. I suppose he thinks, oh, it's Uruguay. I haven't got that much time. But he has. He's got time to let it drop onto his foot, and he heads it. What a chance, says Kane Pogba, and he's right. He could have let that drop and smashed it home.
That's the thing, though, with Mbappe. His decision-making, as I said, and his final ball isn't always there. But I think that is due to his youth, but it's something to look out for, definitely. Yeah, I've just seen it now. He could have easily let that come down and smash it home, yeah.
Well, that was a golden opportunity, and, well, maybe he will get more opportunities, but that's not the sort of thing you would associate with France at all, with Uruguay's defence at all, to afford that sort of an opportunity. And we did go on about how good the Uruguay left-back, Lexlat, was against Portugal, but that's got to be his responsibility there, and I don't know where he is.
Well, so you can obviously look at it two ways. Yeah, you know, France didn't score, brilliant, lucky. But you can also look at it the other way, that Uruguay's defence may not be as well organised as we originally thought it was.
Well, Harry Kane's looking good for the Golden Boot at the moment. I think he's 2 clear of his nearest rival.
If he does get the Golden Boot, though, I think he scored 4 penalties, one off his arm, one off his face, and one deflected off Loftus' cheek. Is the jammiest Golden Boot, if it is.
Yeah, it is. It's not been the best.
No.
Mick Deb says Mbappe's not the finished article yet. I don't think he's not even 20 yet, is he? So
no.
Archie says, I'm loving the pressing from Uruguay. Yeah, they'll definitely come out of this game feeling like they've had a game, France. Whatever happens, they'll get worked hard. And I think that's the advantage that Brazil and France and Belgium and Uruguay have got, is that to get to the final, they're going to have to move mountains to do it. I mean, Uruguay have already beaten Portugal, France, Argentina. Now they're playing each other. If they win, whoever wins that's going to play Brazil or Belgium, and then that's the final. So by the time they get in the final, they could be well set in relation to the competition that they faced. They could also be quite tired, admittedly, but they're definitely in the tougher side of the draw on paper.
Well, Mark, now we're sort of into the knockout rounds. You know, you got to sort of an hour or maybe a little bit more before the England game, and you just thought, right, let's just win it. I don't care what side of the draw we're in. Let's just win it. Do you still stand by that point now we've passed Colombia, or you're actually quite happy that they took the other side of the draw?
I think in hindsight, England will never have a better opportunity to get to a final. I think if England were playing Belgium or Brazil, let's look what it would have been, Belgium, wouldn't it? So if England were playing Brazil tonight, I'd be like, well, if we go out, quarterfinal's good. Whereas England are playing against Sweden tomorrow, and everyone's like, realistically, we can lose to Sweden, but really, we should win that. And what an opportunity that is to get to a semi-final. And then you're going to play Croatia or Russia. So again, you're like, really, we should be able to get past that. And then you're in a World Cup final. I think if they were on this side of the draw, you'd be like, even if we beat Brazil, we're probably playing France. So it's like, and then you've got to win the final. So not to say that they couldn't do it, but I think the way that the draws panned out, it's worked. But if the penalties hadn't worked out, everyone would have said, we shouldn't have done it. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kante's just had a terrible shot, says Brendan. Yeah, he did. It was hardly worth even mentioning, but yeah, it wasn't great.
Wasn't it Pogba? I thought it was Pogba.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was. I thought somebody said it was Kante.
Is Pogba trying too hard? It's a good comment that I think South African read, because a lot of the time we've discussed how he takes too many touches and he tries to make it the Pogba show. Just lay it off, get the play moving quicker, and you'll see a better team performance rather than a better Pogba performance, if that makes sense,
I certainly think Pogba's one to watch in this game. He was, so I heard the words world class, 10 out of 10, superb against Argentina. I thought he played very well against Argentina, but also very aware that it was Argentina. I think if he can put in a performance in a game like this, that's when you start to think, oh, you know what? That's an impressive performance from Pogba.
Yeah.
He needs the consistency. I'm a United fan, you're a United fan. We know on his day he can be very good, but I mean, the little intricate play is good. Lovely. Let's tell you what, if they pull a goal out, it's a shame. Good little bit of play, but Griezmann loses it. And that's good by Pogba as well. There seems to be more about Pogba in a French shirt as well. More leadership, more vocal, more tenacious. And that's,
why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe he just feels happier in a French shirt than he does playing for Mourinho. I don't know.
Pogba garbage. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, Aidan, but he's not garbage. He's a very, very good player. He just needs to add consistency, as Mark says. But also, Mark, what you have to also realise is you talked about it quite a bit, didn't you, before the actual World Cup started, how don't sort of get carried away with players' performances at the World Cup, because the quality at the World Cup isn't always the best. So, Pogba might play better in a France shirt, but that might also be because he's playing against less good sides.
Yeah, definitely. Corner for France here. I mean, Andy Ramos says Pogba back to Juventus if Ronaldo goes there. How are they going to afford that then?
Yeah. He's going to be on about 500k a week, isn't he? So people talking about the transfer fee, but a 500k a week is going to be more of the issue, I think. But I saw as well that apparently they're trying to get one of their sponsorship to half fund it or something, like Fiat trying to half. I don't know. I saw something like that.
Remember, subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and please do share the video. We're doing watch-alongs for every World Cup game, and this one has started off quite interesting. Bit nip and tuck, like I say, but Griezmann here with the corner. And again, as you would expect, Uruguay on it and clearing it, but French retaining it in the Uruguayan half here.
I think if Uruguay can get the first goal, that would be amazing for them, wouldn't it? Because then France are just going to have to come out, leaving spaces in behind, and we know what Uruguay can do on the counter-attack, so I think that'd be fantastic for them to get the first goal.
The thing about Uruguay is, without Cavani, I mean...
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I know they've got Suarez, but they're quite a defensive set-up team. And
but we've talked about set pieces, haven't we? If Suarez can get forward, win a foul, then they can put a ball into the box. With Godin and Jimenez, a goal's never out of the question. So I think with Pogba, I saw Snow Gaming says, I hate that Pogba is at Manchester United. He was so good at Juve. I don't think people, I can't say I did, watched a lot of Pogba at Juventus. And he did do very well. But one, the league is by far of less quality. And two, his stats were very, very similar. Or at least, he wasn't scoring 20 goals a season like people want him to. So, he should be doing better for the price tag. But I think people overestimate his time at Juventus and his performances.
Ziggy says, I think Sweden's best chance tomorrow. They've got a chance, of course they've got a chance. I thought they were very impressive against Mexico. Take it. And
Switzerland, wasn't it? Yeah. Well.
Happy says Uruguay in the semi-final is a disaster for football. Yeah, I think if I was Belgium and Brazil, I would be like, if it's Uruguay, you'd be like, whew, I'll have some of that. But France should be thinking that like right now, I'll have some of that. So I don't want Uruguay to win the World Cup. They've won it before. Not in my lifetime, probably not in anyone's lifetime, because they won loads of it at the very start. But I think they've won 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 actually. But they've won a few World Cups. So, and also I don't really like their style of play. But on the same hand, if I could choose who's going to come through from this side of the draw, it's probably going to be Belgium for me, because it's something new.
Yeah. Although you'd take Uruguay over France and Brazil, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I mean, let's have the fairy tale. If it's England in the final, would I want England to play Uruguay or France? Probably prefer England to play France, to be honest.
Really? What? So it's a proper final, so people don't.
Well, I just think
like,
it'd be more open game, which I think suits England. I don't think England would suit Uruguay, because England are sort of a bit of a counter-attacking team themselves. So trying to break Uruguay down, I think they might struggle a little bit with that.
Yeah.
So, and also, it is a little bit boring, isn't it? 2 World Cups for Uruguay, apparently, says Alex Rudd. I saw 4 stars on the coach's badge. That's why I thought it might be 4 times. But Ash says that United's style of play is similar to Uruguay's. Yeah, you're probably right actually. Well, no, it isn't, is it? Because United don't press. So Uruguay do press the ball. United don't. As we've said before, United covered the least amount of distance than anyone in the Premier League last year. So
yeah, it's something always my dad says as well. We don't press as a team. Like we sometimes it's like just Jesse Lingard just trying to harry down a ball, but you got to do things together. You got to hunt in packs. It's no good one player just trying to get, press the ball, or Rashford trying to press the keeper. You got to have support, otherwise it doesn't work.
I think that Lexlat, who played very well in the game against Portugal, is sort of being given the runaround a bit here by Mbappe, which is why you shouldn't judge people on the World Cup, because even in the World Cup they can have one good game and one not so good game. Tristan asked what everyone's thoughts on the game so far. He says it's a bit of a snooze fest. It's a bit of a tactical battle, which I think actually many of us thought it would be. I think tonight's game is going to be very, very good, because I think there's going to be goals in that. Hopefully we'll get some goals in this. I agree with Xander. I think if Uruguay got the first goal, it'd make it very interesting. But another cross coming in from France there. SBK Arts.
FFP is dead. It's Ben anyway. Court for sport and arbitration can rule over overall rulings. Juve owner owns Fiat. They're going to fund the move through that. What did I say? Well, can they not?
No, you can't just. It doesn't matter if you can't put a billionaire in charge of Everton and sign Ronaldo. You just can't. You've got to. That's what financial fair play is all about. You've got to justify the money into the club. The richest person in the world could own the MK Dons, but they wouldn't be able to sign Messi because they haven't got the. That's what financial fair play is to stop. It's to stop rich people just coming into clubs and doing things that aren't economically viable. So your outgoings got to match your ingoings. So Juventus can afford Ronaldo as long as they've got the income to justify the deal. So their income will be transfer sales. Obviously marketing, money that they've got from competitions and things like that. So it doesn't matter. Juventus owner being the owner of Fiat makes sod all difference because he can't pump his money in. But
surely, no. But it might not be his money. It might be Fiat sponsorship. It can't. It doesn't that count? If that
if they've got a big sponsorship from Fiat, but then even then you can't just if the highest ever sponsorship in Italy is say 100 million. And then Fiat do $1 billion for Juventus, then UEFA or FIFA would look at them and go, "There's something dodgy there." your owner owns Fiat, and you're paying $1 billion. You're paying 10 times what anyone else has ever paid. It's so that's the sort of thing that City have been accused of in the past. So obviously,
but they haven't got done for it. So there's clearly workarounds, isn't there?
Yeah.
And we've all talked about how much of a rubbish thing FFP is and how much of a joke it is. So you're talking FFP if it's all strict and works, but we all know that football world is absolutely corrupt. So I think as we said, FFP is a joke, isn't it?
Should have took a dive there on Pavard. He would have been out of the semi-final. Matthew McFadden, it's unfair on Pogba. He's showing all what he is. He's all physical ability. You guys have seen Scholes' average physicality, but a master when it comes to the cerebral parts. You always learn something new from Mr. Goldbridge, says Luca. And financial fair play is bent, says Albert Einstein. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, in principle, Xander's right. There's always workarounds, but there's got to be a subtlety to those workarounds. It can't be obvious. You can't just be, like I say, the owner of Fiat, and like I say, you go and take over MK Dons, and then you give a sponsorship of $1 billion to MK Dons when every club in League One, the biggest sponsorship they've ever had is $100,000. It's clearly corrupt, and clearly corrupt is going to get you in trouble. But subtlety, shell companies and things like that, or getting your mates to sponsor and stuff. Of course,
yeah, like putting the money in different pockets of sponsorship.
Yeah,
like not all in one shirt deal, but in a shirt sleeve, or then in sort of boots, and that sort of putting them all in different areas.
And if you're a little bit clever, you're probably going to get away with it, because when you look at some clubs in the Premier League that have gone to the wall because they've let complete clowns take over those clubs. Aston Villa in the Championship again, they're another one.
Blackburn,
Man City's initial owner, what was his name? The one from Thailand. So, Blackburn, as you say.
Is Leeds one of them, or?
Yeah, Leeds have had it as well. So, ITE says Pogba is to midfield what Theo Walcott is to the wing. Great athlete, but too stupid to succeed. Okay. DJ Burns TV says, who's going to win the World Cup? He's asking me and Xander, but you can give us your comments in the live comments and we'll have a look at that. Xander, who's going to win the World Cup?
Oh, it's such a... Obviously, you look at it and you think, someone from this half of the draw, probably Brazil or France, right? But this World Cup, it's not gone that way, has it? So I'm going to go France.
Yeah.
I'm still going with my head. I think France will make this game, even though my prediction said otherwise. I just sort of did that for the entertainment of the stream. But I think France will beat these lot, and then obviously beat the winner of Belgium, Brazil, and then beat, whoever, Croatia or England or someone like that. So I am going with France. They have got the best squad on paper, but like I said, this World Cup hasn't been full of logic in terms of the results, has it? So it's so difficult to call.
Sean Butler says France. Calvin says Italy. He's in for a shock. Brazil for Man United FTW. England says Phil Mitchell. Brazil says Shea. Brazil if they beat Belgium says Archie. Belgium or Uruguay says Joy Deep. Sweden says Paul Gibson. Brazil or England says Dre Don. France or Belgium says Canal. Belgium Awesome Guy. France says DJ Burns TV. Sweden says yeah. Phil Foster says Croatia. And Luca says, what's the best World Cup you've watched? I'll come back to that, Luca. Thanks for that. And I think I agree. I think that that's got to be a yellow card there. It'll be Hernandez, won't it? Yeah, he's not been booked anyway. So I think that I said Brazil before the start of the tournament. So I'm going to stick with Brazil. If it wasn't Brazil, I would say France. I think, despite it, and it sort of fits in with what Luca said there, despite it being a fantastic World Cup, I think for me, for it to be the greatest World Cup ever, you've got to get a winner that is not somebody who's won it before. And I don't know whether we're going to quite do that. I'd love if we get somebody who's never won it before, or England winning it, then this will be the best World Cup ever, because it's been really, really good. But I do think that it will be France or Brazil. I think Croatia had a chance, and then they were so disappointing against Denmark. It was like, are they getting fatigue? I think England could go close, but I just think if England played France or Brazil, or any other team on that side of the draw plays France or Brazil, they're going to be underdogs. So Yeah, I'd love Belgium to come through this side of the draw and get to the final.
They won't do it. Mate. They won't do it. They won't.
No, I mean they were nearly out to Japan, weren't they? So.
Yeah, but then again, France almost, lost against Australia and things. But I just think, your point stands. They're almost out against Japan, like heavily almost out against Japan. They were 2-0 down, for God's sake. So I just don't think they've got the character. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Martinez. But I just don't feel they've got the character in the side.
Yeah, so my favourite World Cup is still Italia 90. I mean, Italia 90 had the whole package. It was... England got to the semi-final. Gascoigne was born. The music, the Pavarotti intro, the stadia. It was my first real World Cup that I remembered as well. So hopefully, there's a lot of people who maybe this is their first real World Cup that they've enjoyed, and they'll remember Russia like that. But good cross there, but nobody in the box for France. Max Clayton says, hey Mark and Xander. We're nearly at 1,000 people watching, so make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and please do share the video. Again, we'll be live tonight with Belgium versus Brazil, which we're really looking forward to. That reminds me as well, if you do fancy, winning a World Cup jersey of your choice, we have teamed up with Team Huddle. The link is in the video description. It's free to play. If you click the link in the video description, you can join Team Goldbridge, and how it works is we've got about 60 people in it at the moment. So you basically predict the scores. This would be for the semi-finals because you've missed the quarterfinals now. So you predict the scores and you all compete within my team. Also, away from that, Team Goldbridge is a team itself. So we compete against other teams, of which, if you fancied it, you can actually create your own teams as well. So you could create Team McDeb. I've just picked a name randomly from the live comments. He could create a team as long as you've got 4 people in that team, and then you compete against my team, which is Team Goldbridge. But initially join it, get your score predictions in, and we challenge other teams within the Team Huddle, which is good fun. I'm sure you'll agree. Everyone who downloads it and joins my team, it's free to do it, automatically goes in the draw to win an international shirt of your choice, which can be anything. They don't even have to be in the tournament. You could go for the Nigerian one. It's up to you. You can also, if you so wish, and you've got to be over 18 for this, and please do gamble responsibly, you can also take part within the competitions element within my team, which has got a £1 entry fee. Again, you just put your predictions in, and if you win the pot. So we've got about 60 people entered it for this round. Link in the video description. Give it a go and get yourself an international shirt. Go in the draw for it. Link in the video description. Just had a shot there for Uruguay, actually, while I was chatting away.
They'll be a better team, I think. They'll be a better team.
Yeah, I think we're going to go in. It's going to be tight, isn't it? I think many people predicted that it was going to be tight, and it is going to be tight.
Yeah, but even though France have had more of the ball, I just think they haven't really threatened with it, other than that Mbappe chance. And
Uruguay should have done better with that.
Even though Uruguay haven't had any clear-cut chances, I just feel like they're more likely to score when they attack than France are when they do. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Who's been the better team for you?
Uruguay could get in here. Oh no, it's not a great ball. That was a shame. They nearly had a 2v1, but Stuani blew the pass. I don't know whether Cavani... Does anyone know what the situation is with Cavani? Is he on the bench?
He's injured.
So he's not even available?
No. That's what I think so. He is... No, he's injured yet. It is a tight one, isn't it? 36 minutes into the game. We've got 10 minutes left of this first half. And, it has been a tight one. Is the app UK based? That's what Matthew McFadden's asking.
It is, sorry, yeah, I should have said that.
There you go. Paul just injured his leg, apparently his calf injury.
Here's France on the attack. A lot of people having a go at Griezmann. Smooth Gaming saying Griezmann is useless. Thank God he's not coming to United.
Well, Messi said he was one of the best players in the world, but there you go.
Oh, yeah, and a card for Bantanka, so he would miss the semi-final.
Where does he play? Who is he?
Attacking midfielder for Uruguay. Definitely was a yellow card, to be fair. Although, again, it's the reaction of the player again.
Is he? Does anyone know if he's sort of crucial to their
Yeah,
team?
he's an important player. Plays for Juventus. Good player.
Oh, right. There you go.
Tolisso is the one. I hope he gets a yellow card now because he'd missed the semi-final. The way he rolled around then.
I just hate. I don't like. Literally, that reaction there is like you've been seriously hurt, and all that. Like you can't. It doesn't hurt that much to be. I mean, he got a whack to the shin, but still, it's ridiculous reaction, isn't it?
Yippo says Pogba's garbage.
It's the second time, I think.
I'll tell you what, if Ronaldo does go to Juventus, this is why we've got a gap in the play here, though. I mean, what again? If I was Messi, I'd just be like, what have I done with my life? And I know that sounds really stupid because, well, I've been one of the best players in the world, but all at Barcelona, your whole career, and I know some people would say, well, Ryan Giggs did that, but when you are the best player in the world, but there's another player who people keep saying, well, some people say he's better than you, and some people say you're better. A goal! Hey! France, right on half time. Varane flicks on, Griezmann's cross, and I tell you what, that could be game over effectively. I know that sounds a little bit defeatist, but France getting the first goal, massive for them. Varane scores it with a little bit of a flick header, and that is 1-0. Griezmann's cross, and it's surprising because you'd think Uruguay would go and attack that, but I think Varane just gets the run on. Is it Godin he gets the run on? No, it's not Godin.
It's the least likely position we thought they'd concede from, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. It was a good header as well, wasn't it? Because it was quite far out.
Yeah. Unstoppable for the keeper, to be fair.
I just heard someone, when you said goal, I heard someone like screaming yes, so it was obviously Varane, isn't it? Obviously a Real Madrid fan.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the French are no slouches anyway. They've got quite tall players in there.
Yeah, well they do. Titi, Giroud, Varane. They're all tall players. Pogba's tall as well, 6'4", isn't he? 6'3". So
yeah.
It was a really good header, that actually. Really good header. Now I'm watching the replay. He just skims it off his head, gets up really well to send it into the far corner. Really good header.
Well, Happy's right now, and this could open it up for Uruguay on the counter France on the counter if Uruguay come out and play.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen what Mbappe can do on a counter-attack, isn't it? So that would be worrying. But, stay calm. There's still another half of football left, and a lot can happen in 45 minutes. So just stay calm, I think, Uruguay.
A corner here for Uruguay anyway, so see what happens. And they've got it clear. Good shot, straight at Lloris on the volley.
Oh, I love the World Cup, mate. It's just so sunny and nice and summer and football and it's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
About 3 minutes till half time.
Well, coming up to half time then, mate, and people in the comments as well. Who's been your man of the half? I know it's always difficult to call, but anyone in particular that you've picked out?
That's a good one.
I'm thinking about mine as well, actually. Pogba's been quite good, I think. But he's gone into a few tackles, been quite tenacious in the midfield. But there's no one really that you'd identify. I see what the comments say.
Again, it appears that because it's a South American team, there seems to be loads and loads of South American fans here compared to the French. But Uruguay have got a free kick that they can put in towards the box.
The majority of people, well, a few people saying Pogba. Abdullah Ghost Force saying Pogba. Pavard from Perfect.
Oh, what a save! Lloris! Well, I tell you what, that save was absolutely fantastic, and I thought that was going to be 1-1 at half time there. Gets down really low. Header comes in. It's a good header. It's going towards the bottom corner, and Lloris makes a really good save. It's not. I think if it's a bit lower, he doesn't save that actually, but it's not a bad height for him. But it's still a very, very good save. And,
well, as I said, if they can get a few set pieces, they don't necessarily need to come forward and attack with loads of urgency. If Uruguay can get a few set pieces, you've seen what they can do. So it's a fantastic save, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Godin following it in as well, I think.
Bloody hell.
I thought it would have been a corner, actually. No. Goal kick. Oh, I think there'll be chances in the second half for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Pogba's been brilliant, says Tien Mayat 2. That was world class, says Awesome Guy.
I think he's been my man of the half, I think. Well, it's difficult, but I think he's been very good today, I think. De Gea in disguise. I think Lloris is a bit suspect at times. I know a lot of people rate him quite highly, and he's a good keeper, and it was a good save, but I've seen a few times him make some silly mistakes, and I think he's a bit overrated.
I'd like to see France go out, I must admit, but I don't think I necessarily want them to go out here. I think I'd like to see them go out in the semi-final.
I'd like some. Can you imagine though, Mark? Can you imagine a semi-final where we've got basically where France and Brazil aren't in it, and it's Belgium, Uruguay, let's say England and Croatia? That'd be bloody brilliant, wouldn't it?
I just want Brazil to go out later. That's the one for me. Neymar cannot be allowed to win this tournament. It would be bad for football.
I think a lot of people agree with you, mate.
Oh, Mtiti's gone now, crutching his knee. But it's a foul to Uruguay anyway. I think S is saying 4646 is right. Lloris makes lots of silly errors, but he can make good saves.
Jurgen Klopp came out today and... oh wait, no, that's not Lloris. That's Lloris Karius, isn't it? What am I on about?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Lloris. I think he's a decent keeper. I just think he's a little bit overrated.
Similar sort of cross to Uruguay there. France defending well. I think Uruguay just need to put some get crosses into the box really, because that's where their strength is. But 2-0 in this game's over.
Is it?
I would have thought so. I mean, I suppose Uruguay can change it up, couldn't they? But
it looks like it's over. But I think one goal back, and
how is that not a penalty there? Giroud, he's got hold of his shorts. He can't even jump. Got him. You got to wonder. I mean, obviously we've only seen that on a playback, but you got to wonder how these things aren't being reviewed by VAR.
Well, still nothing from VAR in this knockout rounds, have we?
Not really, no. I wonder if they've been told to, just go mad in the group stages, because that'll keep people entertained. But in the knockout stages, let's tone it down a bit.
Yeah. When it really matters, let's just tone it down. One United agrees with you about Neymar. Apparently, I think a lot of people do. The old man's the same. He's like, if that Nate, he's bad for football, is what Dad was saying. It'll be over if France get a second. That's an awesome guy. I think it would definitely look that way, but like I said, it depends when France get a second. If France get it in the 54th minute, Uruguay can get one in the 60th, and then it's properly back game on. So it depends on when they get it. If they get the second in the 88th minute, then it is game over, isn't it? Of course.
Well, that's half time. Sacre Bleu, says Anthony Muller. And I've been Brazil fan since 1958, but Neymar's actings are disgraceful for Brazil and football, says MSR Kadam. And who do you like more, Fellaini or Neymar, says Luca. Look, I like Fellaini a lot more if he comes on and rolls Neymar out of this tournament. But I just don't like Neymar. I'd be gutted if he signed for Manchester United, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. But as any, you're not all United fans. if Neymar goes to Real Madrid, I mean, I think Real Madrid fans in the main are quite mercenary. They'll just be like, well, he's a good player. But I wouldn't want him at United because I can't put up with that sort of ego. It's ridiculous. And I know Messi's got an ego and Ronaldo's got an ego, but Neymar, it's like it's Team Neymar, and I hate that. And I just I hope he gets knocked out tonight. I'd love to see it, but he'll probably cheat his way through, as he has done a lot of the times. Kane Pogba says, I've got a feeling that Belgium will beat Brazil. I think it's going to be a really interesting game because Belgium's squad is so good. Their first 11 is so good. I just think that Martinez failed against Japan because he plays De Bruyne so deep. You've got to play De Bruyne a little bit further forward, but he's got Mertens and obviously he's got Hazard as well. But I think man for man, it's such a mix of equality, I suppose, between Belgium and Brazil, Sander. I mean, the best player is obviously going to be Neymar, but I think Lukaku's the best number 9 on the pitch. The defences are arguably Belgium's is stronger. The midfield, again, it's quite close. It's just about who performs on the night.
I think so. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. I'm excited to watch it. As you say, I think it's going to just be completely in the balance, and it's going to be very, very tight. Both teams have got fantastic defensive. Both teams can really create chances and have got fantastic ability going forward. So, yeah, as you say, it's difficult to choose a winner. I'm going to go with Brazil, but I think Belgium have got the quality in the team to cause some damage tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the relation to this game, Uruguay are going to have to get something back in. Of course they are, but there's plenty of time for them to do that. There's plenty of time for them to do it. And I think the key for them is doing it through set pieces. It was a good goal by France, for those who've joined us at half-time. Good goal. I mean, Griezmann just clips it in. Varane sort of helps it on the way. And in them situations, there's no chance the keeper's going to get it. And but after that, Uruguay have had a couple of chances from set pieces, and I think that's what they'll be looking at in this second half. But I'd quite like that. If Uruguay can get back in it and make a game of it, that's great. But if France go through and we get France-Belgium or France-Brazil semi-final, I think that'd be interesting. I'll tell you what, I don't want to see France-Brazil semi-final, because then we're getting one of them in the final. But that probably will happen, I suppose.
Yeah, I've sort of surrendered to that idea. To be honest, I've always thought that's the way it's going to go. But I hope, like I said, imagine Belgium or Uruguay, or both going through to the semi-finals, and we'll have one in the final. It'll be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look what people are saying in the live comments. What's the final score prediction? I said I went 2-1, and
I went 2-1 Uruguay.
Jesus is much better than Lukaku, says Ashley Johnson. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. You keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself that, mate. Don't let anyone tell you you're wrong. You keep believing. France don't deserve to be leading this match, says 300. Well, I think you take your chances, don't you? Actually, It probably should be 1-1. That saved by Lloris. But the Uruguayan keeper couldn't do anything about the French goal.
But also Mbappe.
Yeah. He should have done a lot better. Jordan doesn't want Uruguay going through. Stop underestimating Uruguay, says Zahab. I hope we are underestimating them. I'd love to see that. Something like that happen. I'd love to see them come back. De Gea has been bad at the World Cup. Do you think it will affect his club level? Dre Don? No. Ronaldo was bad at the World Cup. Messi was bad at the World Cup. Do you think they'll have a bad season? No. It's a bubble. International football's a bubble, and you climb out of it and you leave it. MUFC Madness. Why do you think England are guaranteed a final? Croatia are better and will prove it in the semis. Who said that they're guaranteed? Did you say that?
No, I didn't say it, mate. I said imagine, Belgium or Uruguay and England or Croatia in the final. I didn't say they were guaranteed it.
Yeah. I certainly haven't said it. I think...
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You said that England were going to win it and it's coming home.
God, no. God, no. I think that if England can make the... If England should beat Sweden, and if they get to the semi-final, then that is an amazing achievement because it's only happened 3 times. It'd be the 3rd time, and if they get to a World Cup final, it would be like only happened. That some people don't get that in their lifetime, so that would be amazing. I did say to a mate last night, I was talking to him, and he's Irish, and he was like, "What are your thoughts about England?" Because he knows that I've been quite critical of them in the past, and I said, they've done really well, really proud of what they've done, but part of me would rather lose a semi-final than a final, because if we get into a final, I can only imagine what's going to happen in this country.
You will lose a few pounds, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's just so many people are going to be absolutely rocking, quite rightly. But I think whoever comes from that side of the draw, whether it's Croatia, Sweden, Russia or England, I just got a feeling that the standard in that side of the draw isn't near the standard of this side of the draw. And it'll be a bit of a mismatch in the final. I think there'll be big underdogs. It doesn't mean that Croatia or England or Russia or Sweden can't win it. But they won't. I don't think they'll be like, it can go either way. I think there will be underdogs, and I think England have done fantastically well, but are they good enough to beat France? Are they good enough to beat Brazil? Are they good enough to beat Belgium? And I don't know, but it'd be absolutely amazing if they get to the final. I think they'll get to the semi-final, and then Croatia, if it is Croatia, could be a very tough game.
I think Croatia would probably do well against Brazil, because Croatia, they're going to rough you up, aren't they? They're going to rough you up and put in a few hard tackles. And I don't think Brazil like that style of play. I mean, we've seen with Neymar, you touch him and a gust of wind and he goes down rolling about. So they clearly won't like it. They clearly won't want to fight. And I think that might work in Croatia's favour.
Pogba's had a little bit of stick in this game. I just wonder whether Pogba's playing a little bit within himself as well, knowing that a yellow card for him puts him out of the semi-final, because that and some people would say if it's France-Belgium or France-Brazil semi-final, in some ways that's the final, isn't it? Because that could be the toughest game. With all due respect to my country, England or Croatia, if you're France and you've got Belgium, Brazil in the semi-final, if you beat them, you're going to think, on paper, really, we've had the toughest game, and that's probably that'd be very important in Pogba's mind. We've already lost. Bentancour's been booked for Uruguay, so if Uruguay go through, he will miss the semi-final. But Pogba's on a yellow card, hasn't had one yet, and Neymar's on one tonight. So we'll see what's going to happen. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. And if England win, the Irish pubs should close for the day, says Mini Diver. And I wouldn't bet on Croatia to get through, says Josh Cox. I'm hoping that Russia will give them a game tomorrow. And not
I think they will. I think they'll sit back. Well, not maybe as much as they did against Spain, but they are underdogs and they will be defensive. But I think they'll come out slightly more and they will give Croatia a good game. I do still think that Croatia will beat them, but don't underestimate Russia. Yes, they didn't have a fantastic group, so they should go through. But what they did against Spain, the amount of time they defended for, it isn't easy to do. So don't count them out of it, and hopefully, for England's sake, they can progress.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm just gonna. Oh no, not that one. That one. I've mentioned it before. Link in the video description for Team Huddle. It's free to download it. And it's only available for people in the UK. I must keep saying that. So basically, what it is, it's a score prediction game. If you download the app, as I say, it's free to do it. Don't want to click that one. I want to click that one. And how it works is it's a team predictor thing. So if you click the link in the video description, it will bring you through to the teams. You can join Team Goldbridge. I bet you've always wanted to do that, as a lot of people already have. And basically, you put your predictions in for the games. It'll be for the semi-final now because you've missed the quarter-final, but everybody who signs up goes into the draw to win an international shirt of their choice. Maybe you want a Brazil one, maybe you want an England one. And also what you can do if you're over 18 is you can enter the competition element of it, which is £1 to enter, and there's a pot of 63 quid there, so we've had about 60 people enter for that bit there. But the main part of it is the teams bit, and that is free. You can also create your own team. As long as you've got more than 3 people, so you can invite friends as well, you can create Team Matthew McFadden if you're Matthew, and you can compete against me or anybody else's team, as long as you've got 3 people to join your team. But sign up, Team Goldbridge, get your score predictions in, and as you can see, when you start playing, after a little while, if you get more and more predictions right, you can move up through the star ratings, because as you can see, new people here have got no star ratings, but some people have got 2.5, 3 stars based on historic predictions. So you can become a master of the game as well. The link is in the video description to do that. Get involved and challenge your fellow That's Footballers on Team Goldbridge. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we're getting closer and closer to 42,500. So bottom right hand corner, please do subscribe. We've got 1,000 people watching, which is great. Hope you're all enjoying the World Cup. It's nice to have it back. But I think it's all about Belgium, Brazil tonight. France, second half. We're not far away from the second half now. I think France just need to be a little bit careful, as we've mentioned, Xander, on Uruguay. Don't really seem to have the pace to hit on the break. I think Uruguay are all about getting free kicks in and around that box, getting corners and putting balls into the box. And that's where France needs to concentrate, because that's Uruguay's thing. I mean, I'm quite surprised Uruguay conceded from the sort of goal that they did, because that's not normally what they're like. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this second half?
Well, going into it, as I said, they need to stay calm, Uruguay. They need to be level-headed in terms of not giving the likes of Kylian Mbappe too much room in behind to counter-attack, because as we said, that is a big attribute of France, the pace on the counter-attack with Griezmann, Mbappe, and potentially Dembele off the bench. So that's something they need to look out for. As you say, winning free kicks.
Hold up.
What?
Joy Deeps put something in capital letters, which I think if Matthew hasn't spotted it already, he's going to get himself in trouble. Because Joy Deep, capital letters are not liked by the moderators anyway. But then you've put something in capital letters that, with over 1,000 people watching, could completely be inaccurate. And it is inaccurate, because Joy Deep has said Pogba won't miss the semi-final because before the quarterfinals, previous yellow cards are removed. And I'm sorry to out you in front of everybody, but this has been clarified so many times. Pogba's on a yellow card in the quarterfinal. If he gets a yellow card, he misses the semi-final. Like, Bantanka's just done it. So Joy Deep, I think, maybe you've had a little kip in the first half, because you're wrong. You're wrong. And this has been clarified so many times. The yellow cards don't get reset until the final whistle of the quarterfinal. So if Pogba gets a yellow card, he misses the semi-final because he's on a yellow card. So everybody who read Joy Deep's inaccurate message, because he hasn't been listening to everybody over the last week, it's wrong. Quarterfinal, after the quarterfinal, it's reset, because they don't want people missing the final with 2 yellow cards. So obviously, you can't miss the final because they're reset. Semi-final, you can only get a yellow card or a red card. You can't get 2 yellow cards. So that's how it is. Anyway, lots of people joining in the debate. Joy Deep knows I'm only joking. He's a regular. But do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. World Cup watch along for every single game. Of course, me and Marcus will be doing the England one again tomorrow. Hopefully it's not going to be as tense. I did a prediction on my channel earlier, and England won 4-0. So I'll take a little bit of that. But Belgium, Brazil tonight as well. The other half of this. Great to have the World Cup back. Great to have such a great community back with you lots. And I hope we get a goal in the second half, Sander, anyway, because I don't want it to just be... Deschamps can do this. He's sort of just... He's a pragmatic manager. He is a bit like Mourinho in that sense. And I think he might just be like, let's hit them on the break if we can, but actually let's make it tight at the back. And I think if he invites a bit of pressure and sits deep, I think that'll play into Uruguay's hand. I think the best form of defence for France is to play higher up the pitch and attack.
I always say it, don't I? I always say it. Don't change your game plan. It's silly. It's silly to do. Just keep doing what you're doing and try and kill the game off. At 1-0, you're not secure. Even in the 89th, 90th minute, we've seen it with England the other day. You bring on an offensive substitution in Eric Dyer and you're not secure. Keep doing what you're doing, France, and try and kill the game off. That's my advice for France.
Yeah, definitely. So we're nearly kicking off for the second half. Remember, we will be absolutely live straight away tonight. Well, not straight away after this. We will be live at about 6:30 tonight for Brazil versus Belgium, which I said before, apart from the England game, that was if England were out of this tournament, we'd still be doing the watch-alongs anyway. That would be the game for me that I'd be really excited about the most. Brazil versus Belgium. What a game that could be. And I think, it's going to be a little bit of a shock, isn't it, to lose one of those teams. But that's how the cookie crumbles in the World Cup. So yeah,
that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. And as Matthew McFadden says, everybody's welcome on this channel. Doesn't matter who you support, what country you support, what club you support, where you are from. Just make sure that you and banter's more than welcome, as Joy Deep's just found out. But just keep it clean. Don't be abusive to each other, because I think we've had some great streams on this channel so far, where we've had fans from the other night from Switzerland and Sweden, and that's what we want on this channel. We don't want it to be don't want it to be exclusive. We want it to be inclusive. So if we've got people who think Pogba's crap and people who love Pogba, great. Get the debate going, and we'll join in the live comments, and we'll bring it onto the actual show as well. But we've kicked off second half, 1-0 to France. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We're getting close to 42,500, so subscribe bottom right hand corner. Please do share the video as well. And if you are new, get involved with That's Football. It's an independent fan channel, all about the fans, and everybody's welcome. When Ronaldo signs for Juventus, we'll go live. When there's transfer news for Real Madrid, we'll go live. Barcelona will go live. When it's Premier League, go live. I was saying before, Xander, where I've already sort of highlighted our first two watch-alongs we'll do for the Premier League. The Sunday, we've got Liverpool, West Ham, and Arsenal, Man City, so we'll definitely do those. But the sky's the limit. We'll do loads of watch-alongs, even if it's a 3 o'clock game on a Saturday. Xander lives in Spain, so he can watch them. It's fine.
Yeah, and I want to get into stuff like you do on the United Stand as well. Skype shows. We're getting a lot of people supporting different clubs now, so it'll be fantastic to get a few different opinions in Skype shows and debate shows and things like that. So there's a lot coming up on That's Football, lads. Stay tuned, and as Mark says, we've still got the World Cup left, so get subscribing.
And I'll tell you what, I love Serie A anyway, but definitely Juventus' first game, I'll be doing that as a watch-along on this channel. So subscribe, get involved, and join the chat. And let us know in the live comments where you're watching from. We haven't asked that, and we always ask that. Let us know where you're watching from. Griezmann nearly robbing the goalkeeper there. It's gone wide. Never really a danger of a goal, I don't think, but a little bit of a wake-up call for the goalkeeper, being closed down by Griezmann there. So let's see what Uruguay can do in this second half. I'm not convinced Uruguay have got 2 goals in them. That's why I went 2-1. But I certainly think they might have 1 in them.
Okay, YouTube says it's going to get tiring doing all these watch-alongs, Mark. Okay, it's not going to be anything like the World Cup, doing like 3 or 4 watch-alongs a day, pal. So we've clearly got it in us.
Yeah, we have officially done a watch-along for every single game. I think the only one, well, we still started it, didn't we, was that one.
And also, Uruguay, Russia, we started. And then also Tunisia, Panama. We did, because it's like the most
But that was kicking off at the same time, so...
Yeah.
But every scheduled slot for games we've covered.
Every single one, yeah.
I don't know whether we'll do the 3rd place playoff. I don't really fancy doing that myself, but
I'll see if I'm around,
then again,
if you want to do
might be England.
Yeah, well, if it's England, will you do it?
I suppose so. Yeah. I genuinely don't get that. It's a midfield battle at the moment, nothing going on. But I genuinely don't get the 3rd, 4th place game. I really don't. I don't know what people in the live comments think. Just read some places that people are watching from: South Africa, New Jersey in America, The Couch, Sweden, Wakanda, New Zealand, Ireland, Melbourne, wow, Brazil, Arta's in Brazil. Oh, sorry, Arta, we have been quite nasty about Brazil as well. Look, everybody's welcome. Plymouth, Mayo Island, Barbados, Italia, Hassan, West Yorkshire, London, Vatican City, Canada, Netherlands. Let's go Uruguay, Toronto, Plymouth. Yeah, thanks everyone who's let us know where they're watching. Just everywhere, which is absolutely fantastic. The 3rd and 4th playoffs, I've never understood it throughout. Even as a kid when I watched the World Cup, I was like, why do they do this? There's nothing. I don't get it. Maybe people. John Massey says it's stupid, but what are your thoughts, Sander?
Well, I heard you say it. So this is not an independent thought. This is Mark's thought. You said it's something about maybe something to do with the rankings. That probably makes sense, doesn't it? Because where you finish in the World Cup probably has an influence on where you rank in the sort of FIFA rankings, doesn't it? So that probably does make a difference. But yeah, I'm not asked, to be honest with you, mate. It's I did watch it when Holland were in it. I can't remember who we played 4 years ago, but I did watch it. But it's a bit of a dead rubber game, isn't it? As you say, you often play your reserves in it anyway, don't you?
I do remember it when England played it in Italia 90 and we played Italy, and it was just a bit of an exhibition game, and yeah, they played all the rest of the squad players, which is absolutely fine, of course, but yeah, and I think it is something to do with the FIFA rankings. But having said that, I just don't. I still think, come on, you must be able to figure it out without them having to play against each other, especially when they're not playing against each other properly either. So what is the bloody point?
Yeah. To figure out who came third or fourth, I guess.
Yeah, so that's next Saturday at 4:00. If you get it in your diary, next Saturday.
Yeah. Next Sunday we're finished then.
Yeah.
Mate, oh my god, it's mad, isn't it?
It has flown by though as well, really.
Yeah. That is absolutely... I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
For a 4-week tournament, I mean, just over 4 weeks actually, it's gone really, really quick.
Well, and then we're on pre-season, aren't we? We'll be doing some of the Australian type things where we're getting up at sort of 4 a.m. I've already been looking at the schedule and I've got Megan round for the time, but it doesn't matter because they're all at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. anyway. So yeah, I love that. Even though it's quite difficult at the time, isn't it? I still love doing it, and I look back on it quite positively.
I think whoever you support, I think Arsenal are over in Asia.
So they're in Singapore, the Arsenal are.
Yeah, I think United are in America, Liverpool are in America, Real Madrid are in America, AC Milan are in America. Whoever you support, it's I always enjoy it getting up at 2-3 in the morning to watch the United games, because I know that there's a lot of people when we're doing it through the season and we get to watch it at 4:00 in the afternoon or lunchtime or evening. They're doing that all season, watching United games, so it's always good to get the other side. But
yeah, I love it, mate.
Well, I know you're not doing Belgium-Brazil later, so there's a cross coming here for France, who've started off quite well. So let's wait for that, and then I'm just going to ask Sander what his thoughts are on Belgium-Brazil later. Cleared by Uruguay. We don't want another France goal yet. Pavard shoots over. Yeah, what's your... Paul Duffy says second incoming. You're wrong, unless you're up to something else. What is your thoughts on the Brazil-Belgium game, Xander? Which way do you think it's going to go?
For some reason, I think it's going to go Belgium. Purely, look, as I said, they're very tight. They're very evenly matched, aren't they? They've both got good players in all areas of the pitch. The reason I go to Brazil is purely because of what I saw against Japan in the first sort of, in the 80 minutes that we saw the game. From what I saw then, poor Belgium, you can get at them. But also, I just don't think Roberto Martinez gives them that leadership, and they miss something, don't they? They miss something. I think they've got a little bit of bottle in them, a bottle job-wise. So I'm going to go with Brazil, mate. I'm going to go with Brazil, but it can go either way, can't it? It can go either way.
Yeah, I'm not going to give my prediction until later on, but I do feel that Belgium are the question mark. If they turn up, we could have a great game. If they show the weaknesses they did down the flanks against Japan, well, actually, that's where Brazil can hurt them, because I think Marcelo's back, and obviously Willian played well in the second half, so he seems to have found a bit of form, and Neymar plays off the left, and that's where they can hurt them. But
Marcelo plays as a left winger, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he can really get at, was it Meunier? And also, remember, this is a good point to note, so that'll be Neymar and Marcelo on the left, right? They'll be overlapping. Neymar will be cutting inside, Marcelo on the overlap and things like that. And Meunier's on a yellow card, isn't he? So if they do go through Belgium and he gets a yellow card, which is likely against those two, he's going to miss the semi-final.
And also Carrasco, as you've said, you've not been impressed with him as a left wing back because he's basically a right winger up against Willian. I think that's where Belgium's weakness is. And a lot of people are saying Fellaini. I'd be stunned if Fellaini starts that game. He shouldn't start that game. He's the plan B option, so he shouldn't be playing.
But he's after that performance against Japan, Mark. He changed the game. He's the best midfielder in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, no, but I'd still drop him. But no, I mean, also, I'd love to. I mean, Lukaku. I mean, who's going to win the Golden Boot? Is Harry Kane just going to get there with his, penalties and deflections, or are we going to get a battle for the Golden Boot, which we thought we were? And suddenly it's just looking a little bit one-sided, because I think the only people close to Kane is Lukaku and potentially Mbappe, but he'd need to really be scoring today. But Lukaku's 2 behind.
I think
I'd like to see Lukaku have a big game tonight anyway. From a Manchester United point, obviously, but also from a Belgian point of view, I'd love to see something.
Also, I mean, this is related. You must have seen Lukaku doing all those team talks in the huddles. But if you think about it, they've got, Hazard's the captain, I think. They've got Vincent Kompany, Alderweireld. They're all big leaders, but it seems he's stepping up to be the main man. Captaincy's coming up. Michael Carrick's gone. I'm not sure he'll give it to Valencia. He might do. But is Lukaku a shout for captaincy at United now?
I think he is, but I don't think that's what Mourinho does. Mourinho doesn't seem to value the captaincy at United. He just gives it to whoever's been there the longest, which is why Matt has had it, De Gea's had it, Fellaini's had it, Valencia's got it. He doesn't seem to value it much, which is weird. This game is a bit of a scrap at the moment, I agree. We're 11 minutes in. It's an intriguing game because this was all... Don't... Look, people who are moaning about this game, are you these England fans who are fair weather fans? Because any real football fan knew this was going to be a chess match. I was intrigued by it because it's all about whether France can break Uruguay down, which they already have, and they can deal with that physicality. But it's going to be a battle, this, for France. And I think it's an intriguing one. But it was never going to be this 4-3 fast-flowing game, not against Uruguay. So
if you've ever seen Uruguay play, you would have known that it wasn't going to be an intriguing 4-3 type of game. And France, although they did play well against Argentina, I think you're always going to get that sort of game with Argentina because they're so exposed at the back and they're so good going forward. So you're always going to get that end-to-end game with them. But France, other than Argentina, haven't been that entertaining either. So, as you say, it's intriguing tactically, but it's not necessarily intriguing in the terms of excitement.
Suarez is chucking himself about a bit at the moment, but to be honest, he's probably been told to do that because they need to start picking free kicks up in the final third so they can get at and get some free kicks into the box. They're on the attack here. Decent cross. Ooh, good defending. So, Uruguay are pushing, and I think the longer it stays 1-0, the better the game will be because I don't want France to get that second goal because I think it kills the game. Yeah.
I hope Uruguay can get a goal in maybe the 65th minute, and then we've got a fantastic half an hour left, don't we?
AJ Nell says, "Is it coming home, Mark?" The question I don't want to answer. Is it coming home? Well, there's a long throw in from Uruguay here, so I can avoid the question. Flicked on. Well, good defence, and they've still got it. I think this is Suarez. Yeah, decent cross. They're queuing up Uruguay here, having a go, which is fair. Rubbish. Is it coming home? I think people need to understand. Look, I've been watching World Cups for years and years, and it's great what's going on in England with all this. It's coming home and that. But what we are getting is delirious, which is fine. That's great. Excitement's brilliant. But we're also getting a lot of people who are supporting. Who are supporting England, who've got no bloody idea what football is. I was watching that. We've got something called Good Morning TV on ITV and every morning, funnily enough. And Piers Morgan normally does it. I'm sure a lot of you heard of him. And Susanna Reid. Yeah. But they don't do it on a Friday. It's their day off. So they had some woman on it today. 2 women on it this morning. Kate Garraway and I forget the other one. And the other one, anyway, she's like, they're talking about England and she's like, "Oh, are we going to do it? I think we're going to do it." And then, but in the next sentence she says, "Because I don't even like football, but I've just got into it and we're going to do it." And I thought, you are the people who, you're more than welcome to join the party, but shut up. Don't start talking about we're going to do it when you just admitted you don't know anything about football. I mean, that's the problem. It's all these people who are jumping on the bandwagon, who know nothing about football, who just quite rightly want to become part of this positive vibe. But they're driving it. Then you've got people like Mad Marcus, who's on tomorrow night again, who's glass half full, who's just very optimistic. Even in the penalty shootout, we're nearly the same age, and I was like, "We're going to lose." No, I believe we're going to win, and we did. Fair play, we did. But it's, I think there needs to be an element of realism. England have won one World Cup in nearly 100 years. One World Cup in 100 years, and that's when they hosted the World Cup, which is a big advantage. I mean, Russia are crap. There's no way they'd be in the quarterfinals if they weren't hosting this tournament. As the host, it's a big advantage, unless you're Brazil. So I think what people need to realise, if England get to the semi-finals of the World Cup, then people should be absolutely ecstatic and realise that that is a rare thing and it's absolutely amazing. If they get to the final, that might be the only time in your life you see England in a final. If they win it, well, you can die happy because not many people get that. So I think England, it can come home. I'm not saying it's not going to come home. It can come home, but I think people need to just take a little bit of realism and realise that actually getting to a World Cup semi-final is amazing. Getting to a final would be stunning. Winning it is just ridiculous. So it can happen, but I think people need to stop thinking, oh my life, this game is over.
Yeah, I just heard that guy cheer again.
What a stupid idiot that goalkeeper is. 2-0. It's a shot straight at him and he's done a Karius.
He's done a Karius?
Yeah.
Oh, who scored it then?
It wasn't even hit as well.
Was it Pogba?
No, it's Griezmann.
Oh, for God's sake. Let me have a look at this. That is full-on Karius, isn't it? That is full-on Karius. I feel bad for him. I never like it when a keeper, apart from Karius, mucks up like that.
No, this will banter Liverpool fans, so just call it a Karius every time a goalkeeping error now. But,
yeah. I love it there. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Karius.
Yeah, so I save that. You save that. Stevie Wonder saves that. It's like it's straight at him. It's not hit hard, and he's. That is the worst mistake. That's the worst goalkeeping error in the World Cup.
What went wrong?
I don't know.
Let me have a look.
I don't think there's loads of movements on it either. It's just really dodgy. And remember, the Holy Messenger delivered, says Chris Tech Tips. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, but that must be down to concussion, won't it, Mark?
Yeah, he must be concussed.
Can we get a petition to replay this game?
It's going to be tough for Uruguay now. It's a shame. We didn't want that second goal, but you know, these things are the sort of things that go for teams that win the World Cup as well.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's true. There you go, 2-0 France. Oh, poor kid crying in the stands, Uruguayan. But there you go, like you say, that's that bit of luck that you need. And I do think France will progress now. But, you know, as I said, when we were talking about if France get the second goal, is it game over? There's still half an hour left, isn't there? There's still half an hour left, plus stoppage. Well, 28 minutes plus stoppage time. So,
another corner. Yeah, I think Uruguay can get a goal. I mean, it's not over yet. Varane says that's worse than Karius. It was. You're right. I'm going to be totally fair to him. That's worse than Karius, but we'll call it a Karius because Liverpool fans will just get irritated and do another petition. Maybe they can join it with the Colombian one and file it, and no one gives a shit. But Uruguay on the attack here. Shot into the box. Ooh, good shot. Goal kick. Yeah, you don't want. To be honest, you don't want that in a tournament anyway, do you? It's a shame at this point in the game as well. If it had been 1-0 from the mistake, it gives Uruguay a bit of a chance. But it moves a little bit, but it's still straight at him. I saw somebody saying there that it danced a bit, but he gets both hands on the ball. It's whether it dances a bit or not. He gets both hands on the ball. It's just a total utter mess up, to be honest. It swerved. Marks as Paul Duffy again. Yeah, I'm sure it did swerve a little bit, but it was straight at him, and he got two hands on the ball. There was no power on the shot either. It wasn't like Bales was coming in really hard at him.
Well, yeah, I saw a comment there. If it's a true Karius, he's got to muck it up again because Karius did muck up twice, didn't he, in that final?
Yeah.
So it's not full Karius.
As Red Jedi said, yeah.
Yeah, that's the comment.
Anyway, I thought that the Karius mistake for the Bale shot was funny, but nowhere near as bad as what he did to Benzema. That was banter. That was.
Mate, honestly, I was just smashed because I was at a party and.
Bone Man, please tell me how. I'm intrigued to know how, and then we'll have a discussion. This is a tournament of goalkeeping errors, says.
De Gea had a few, didn't he? The Argentinian keeper had a few, I think, didn't he? The one against Mbappe.
Uruguay has Christ, Karius, and France has Lloris.
So with Ronaldo going now, you've been saying either Ronaldo or Bale will leave Real Madrid. One of them will leave. Bale will stay, I presume, then, right?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about Real Madrid is that when Juventus sign Ronaldo, which looks like they're going to, then Real Madrid aren't just going to lose the best player in the world and go, oh, well, let's carry on. They're going to go and sign Neymar, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go back to disliking Real Madrid, you see, if they get Neymar and Ronaldo goes.
Well, as I said to you...
I spent years disliking Real Madrid, but then Ronaldo sort of made me like them, and now I just know.
Did you dislike them originally due to like Van Nistelrooy and things like that?
Yeah. Snow Gaming, no one's been banned. He just made a comment that's a load of nonsense and then obviously ran and hid, so he's not been banned. He's still there. We're waiting for Bone Man to reply, so let's all wait with bated breath because he's not been banned. We don't ban people from the channel for things like that.
Although I'm not saying we would ban him, but when people just turn up in the stream and just say "shut up," it's just
it's gone off here. It's all gone a bit off here. Don't know what's gone on.
Is it? I don't know, I'll see in a minute. It was a foul. It was a tackle, and then he's rolling about. Oh, gee, yeah, it's because someone grabs Mbappe.
They're going to go VAR anyway.
It's going mental.
There's a fight. It's Suarez again, says Aaron Chen.
Don't bite him.
The Bone Man, I don't know what you're on about, but you're clearly living in the past. And I think everybody knows that whoever you are, you're a little bit sad because it's already been proven that they've been put in their place. So you can go now. I just wanted to know if you actually had anything. So,
but remember, Bone Man, if you do want to go for a sing-song outside Old Trafford, we will be joining you with that person. So.
Yeah,
but remember,
a tenner apparently. Anyway, back to the fight. Let's go.
There'll be Ugg boots there for. Anyway, I've got to stop. I've got to stop, mate. I've got to stop.
We haven't even seen ourselves what's gone on here. Is anybody?
No, it was basically Mbappe went down. He was rolling about. Then Godin obviously took an issue to it and grabbed his arm and tried to get him to try to pick him up. But it's interesting though. It's probably been the most exciting bit of the game.
Yellow card. So Mbappe. I don't think Mbappe got touched. I think Mbappe dived, to be honest. Pogba's stupid as well. Grab someone on the head.
Can't do that, can you?
Deschamps telling him as well, you're an idiot because you could get booked.
Oh,
France want to stay out of this because they could pick up... To
be fair, I'll do the same as Godin, mate. Did you see that Mbappe while he went down?
I didn't look like there was any contact there. That's what I was saying. But
no.
The Uruguayan got a yellow card for it, Rodriguez, which is didn't seem to do anything. As Darren Sweetman says, calm down, France. At the moment, you've got it won. You don't need to get involved in anything here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let them lose their heads.
Must be a PSG thing, says Danny Smith. Yeah, Neymar plays for them, doesn't he?
He's a twat. I've never seen a better defensive midfielder than N'Golo Kante. He is everywhere. He cost us an FA Cup final as well. N'Golo Kante, Mark, what is your opinion on him?
I think he's fantastic midfielder that you stick him next to Pogba and he makes him look better. I mean, Pogba's a good player, but I think it's just the pace and the ground that he covers compared to Matic. He is described by many people as as like having two midfielders, and I think that's the brilliance of Kante. Yeah, you a fan?
Go. Yeah, I think he's good. But there was a time where he was so underrated, right? He was so underrated, and everyone was waxing lyrical about Vardy and Mahrez, that he then got a little bit overrated. Because I think people were like, oh yeah, that Kante lad's brilliant, and then it went a bit over, and people were like, best midfielder in the world, when they're clearly better midfielders. But as you say, he's a very, very good midfielder. Yeah.
Keith says that a pundit did say that Mbappe is trying too hard to be like Neymar. Well, it's like kids who are influenced by Neymar, isn't it? Mbappe is still a bit of a kid. He's not 20 yet, is he? And he probably looks up to Neymar, trains with him, and thinks that's, This is the problem with Neymar. Very, very good player, but the way he behaves and the way he's always behaved, he's done it for years, is just abhorrent, really.
But you could say that about Ronaldo at the beginning of his career. Do you remember that when he was diving left, right, and centre, wasn't he, when he first came to United?
Kante is the best midfielder in the world at what he does, says AW Games. Well, I was just going to come back and say that myself. Not that he's the best midfielder in the world, but he did win Leicester won the Premier League. He left and they weren't as good. Chelsea first season they won the Premier League. So depending on who he's got around him, I think he makes everybody else's job a lot easier.
Yeah, that is true, and that's testament to how good he is, isn't it?
Ronaldo was diving everywhere first two seasons, says Chris. No, mate. I used to watch United a lot then when Ronaldo was there, and he also used to get a lot of treatment that you wouldn't get away with now. He used to get fouled a lot. 10 years ago, even probably 5 years ago, the game's changed so much. But 10 years ago, it was a different game completely. Some would say it's bad. I agree. I think we've lost a lot of physicality from the game. But 10 years ago, you could get away with a lot that you can't now.
Did you see Rooney's first 5 minutes against Ronaldo or something like that? It was like, welcome to the Premier League, Ronaldo. He just absolutely clatters him when Rooney was at Everton.
Chance there for Tolisso, puts it over the bar.
It is clear that Deschamps likes this midfielder on the left, doesn't he? Because he did it with Matuidi. He's now done it with Tolisso as well.
And Marvin Miller makes a good point. Well, even if Ronaldo was doing it when he was 18 or 19, Neymar's 26.
Yeah, there you go. That's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference. Would you take Kante over Kroos? Says Adateo.
I would at Manchester United because I think that's what Manchester United need. I suppose it depends what you want, isn't it?
I think that, yeah. Well, we've seen it firsthand, directly. What Manchester United need is a midfielder to be busy, but also it's clear that he frees up Pogba. So, Right.
Well, Uruguay are going to have to go through and do something a little bit special at the moment because they are 20-odd minutes from going out of this tournament. Please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner, we are doing Belgium-Brazil tonight, which I think is going to be a cracker. Do not miss that one. And, of course, England tomorrow afternoon. Really looking forward to that one. 3 o'clock, 24 hours' time. Where will England be? They'll still be in it, but we'll know what the score is as well. And then people keep forgetting Croatia-Russia tomorrow night. You're doing that one, aren't you, Xander?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Obviously, everyone's very excited for Belgium, Brazil, and England, Sweden as well. But Croatia-Russia is going to be an interesting game. Croatia, decent side. They've showed, positive signs, but they've been quite inconsistent. And Russia, they're the shock team, aren't they, of the tournament? Really, beating Spain like they did was a massive shock. So anything can happen tomorrow, and it should be interesting.
Well, can Croatia step up from where they were against Denmark to what they were like in the groups, and will Russia, go back to how they were playing in the groups really, and be a bit more expansive? Yeah. They were scoring a lot of goals. So, yeah. Are
you joining me for Russia, Croatia?
Yeah, I'll do the audio with you. Yeah.
Nice one.
Jordan's going to join us for the Brazil game. Good. France-Belgium semi will be like an England-Scotland game, says Gary Wells. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, assuming France are going to get through from this, it's looking that way. I don't want Brazil to win.
Why is that, Mark?
Ooh, good play by Neymar. See, I'm even calling him bloody Neymar now. Mbappe.
Tyler's going to the pub for Brazil-Belgium.
Oh, me back.
It was good play by Mbappe. Mbappe's good, but, well, you've seen today, he ran riot against Argentina, but he's not really had too much of an influence in this game. So, he's been good at times, but just
up against a good defence, isn't he, today?
Well, that's what I'm saying. A better defence. You can't judge Mbappe off a game against Argentina. You've got to judge him against teams like this.
Again, though, I mean, I'm not massively convinced by France. I think that, on paper, you've got Kante, who we've just been talking about, Griezmann, Mbappe, Giroud, Pogba, a good back four with Varane and Lloris and Umtiti. And they're gliding their way through into a World Cup semi-final. And when you're there, business end of the tournament, isn't it? But I'm still not massively convinced. But it is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But I think what we haven't had in this World Cup yet, and I don't think I've heard anybody mention this, so it's a good point, hopefully, is that when Italia 90, Germany were favourites from the very start. They were just playing scintillating football. I remember them smashing Yugoslavia and Mateus scoring a great goal, and they were brilliant throughout that tournament. I think Germany in 2014, when they beat Brazil, was that the quarterfinals?
7-1. No, I think it was the semi-finals.
Yeah, they were massive favourites then, and I don't think we've had a team that's been playing well in this tournament. Everyone's had a bad game. We've not had any consistency, and I just wonder if it's, although it's been a good tournament, we've had loads of shocks. I wonder if it's going to be the tournament where somebody just grinds it out. And I suppose that might be the result of a tournament where there is no dominance.
What did we say in the preview before this World Cup started? Well, we said that we don't want to see big teams grind it out, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, if someone's going to win it grinding it out, I want it to be somebody who's never won it before.
Yeah.
And Zonzi coming on.
That's defensive, isn't it? Well, if he comes on for... Who do you think he'll come on for? Pogba? Oh, yeah, he's on a yellow card, so they won't want to risk him, would they?
No. Adira says, I'm convinced by France because they've shown they can come from behind, which they did against Argentina. Well, let's see what Belgium can do. They've come back from behind, haven't they?
Yeah.
2-0 behind. I mean, if nothing's going to make you believe like that, is it?
No, indeed. They'll have fantastic confidence going into this game.
What a game. Belgium-Brazil. Going to be a very good game.
So, when are you going live for that? After, 15 minutes before the kickoff?
Yeah, about 6:45 tonight, UK time.
Cool. Oh, Toliso's coming off. So still, they're going to go to a midfield three? Surely they're not... Well, they could put Pogba on the left, I guess. Yeah, they might do. Well, what do you think will happen now, Mark? Toliso's coming off. They're going to put Pogba on the left, or are they going to go to a midfield three? Or?
Yeah, I think they'll go for a more compact midfield three, won't they? And Giroud and Mbappe off Griezmann.
But that's pretty much all it was anyway, wasn't it? A midfield three with Toliso there.
Yeah, Matuidi plays on the left, but I mean, Matuidi will come back in for the semis.
It's rumoured that Firmino will play for Jesus in the starting 11. That's from Joy Deep. Well, if that is the case, if I'm honest, I think that's positive. I think that works better than Jesus up there. But that's just my opinion. Do you agree, Mark?
Definitely against Belgium because they're such a physical team, Belgium. And Firmino gives them that physicality, doesn't he? And Belgium are very strong down the middle. I think Belgium's weakness is down the flanks. So playing Jesus and trying to, pass your way through is probably not going to work against the likes of Vertonghen and Alderweireld. So, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to do that.
He hasn't done it so far, though, the Brazilian manager. So it'll be interesting to see if he does change it round.
Gary Wells says, only 10 minutes left. Uruguay are crap. They can't come back from this, in my opinion. And yeah, well, you know what? I think Uruguay have played exactly how we thought they would. They're a grinding out team. Some people have said they're a bit like United, but when your keeper makes that mistake to make it 2-0, I said I don't think Uruguay have got 2 goals in them. So my score prediction was 2-1. But I don't think Uruguay have got 2 goals in them. So when it went 2-0, I think that was always going to be very difficult. Not impossible, but very, very difficult.
It's a bit of a dead game to the end, really. Uruguay are trying to come forward, lumping the ball forward, but I don't know. I don't feel like they're going to get a goal.
I know. I will be supporting Belgium tonight because I think that goal, the Japan game, was probably the biggest goal I've celebrated other than England goals. And that's not because I'm a closet Belgium fan. It's just that I would have celebrated Japan's goal either. It was just a really good game, a real neutral game, and I would like to see them do well now. I don't really like Martinez. I think he's misusing De Bruyne, playing him too deep. Trying to get as many of his good players in the team, but he's not using them in the right position. But obviously, Lukaku up front is a personal thing as a United fan. But I think Belgium, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
they could be absolutely atrocious. They could be like Uruguay. I don't care how much the ball moves from Griezmann there. He's hardly hit it. He's hardly put any power in that shot at all. It's straight at the keeper. He's got to do better.
Yeah, and it's not like the keeper's dived, he's on the floor and it's gone the other way, the ball. It's like he's just standing behind it. He gets a hand to it. It should be enough, but it's a massive goalkeeping error. As you say, the swerve shouldn't matter.
Adam T's right as well. Says Cavani was the difference in the Portugal game. They haven't had Cavani tonight. It's a bit like Colombia without James Rodriguez, isn't it? As an England fan, it was great to win it, and you don't know how big a difference that those are, but you also know that Uruguay with Cavani is better than not having Cavani, isn't it? So,
and it suits him on the counter attack a lot, doesn't it, as well, Cavani?
And I think Suarez has been quite poor in this World Cup.
Yeah, he's not done much at all, has he? Cavani's been Uruguay's standout player.
And Gary Wells has just said it, we're witnessing the demise of Suarez. I don't think he had a particularly good season for Barcelona, as I recall, and he's certainly not had a very good World Cup. But
yeah, my mate Jorge, who sports Barcelona, even though there's not been any links to this, but he says he wants to sort of phase Suarez out, and he said he wants Gabriel Jesus, but yeah, he doesn't really like Suarez. Well, he does like him, but he just says he's getting on a bit.
Remember, subscribe if you're new. We're only 10 away from 42,400. So if you are new, we're doing World Cup watch-alongs for every single game. Get involved. Join the chat. Yupu says, I'm bored. And England should sign Ronaldo, Messi and Neuer, says Smooth Gaming. Hannibal says that Pogba's had a fantastic match again. I think he's had a steady match.
Yeah, I don't think
he'd say he's had a bad. He hasn't had a bad game, and he hasn't had a great game. I think he's just had a steady match, and that's fine. That's fine. It's still consistency, isn't it? It's when he's having bad games, and then it's when he's having a good game and then a bad game. That's the problem with his consistency. I think he's had a steady game today. Got through a lot of work in the midfield with Kante, and that's fine. Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, it's hard to pick a man of the match, actually. I'd be tempted to give it to Kante because I think that's sort of where it's been deserved. I know France look like they're going to keep a clean sheet, but I don't think the defence has been brilliant. Obviously, Uruguay's defence has let themselves down on the goal and the goalkeeper. So I think it's got to be a midfielder, and I think Kante is the one that's probably been the best midfielder on the pitch. So I'd give it Kante, which sort of shows you what sort of game it's been, Xander.
Yeah, well, I'd agree with that. It's been a bit of a midfield battle, hasn't it? No team's really created that many clear-cut chances. So the play's been a lot in the midfield. And as you say, obviously the team winning the game is France, and the best midfielder for France on the pitch this game has probably been Kante. So I'd agree with you there, mate. It's a good call.
There you go. I'm just going to I'll be back in a moment. The door's been left open.
Right, mate. But yeah, I mean, look, France into the semi-finals. Guys, get in your comments. I mean, this can be. You guys can obviously do this later, but I want to know for myself what you guys think. Who do you think France will play in the semi-final then? Who do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be Belgium or Brazil? A little bit of a preview to the stream coming up. But Belgium or Brazil, who do you reckon France are getting then? Because I think if they get Belgium, they've got more of a chance if they get Brazil, to be honest.
Joydeep says it's been a real poor start to the quarters. I think it's been a predictable start to the quarterfinals, really. I mean, one thing you don't want is these. You don't want mistakes like that goalkeeper made, because if it had stayed 1-0 now, we'd see Uruguay go gung-ho, but 2-0 they can't do it. So that was disappointing from the goal point of view, the second goal.
They're getting in their comments of who they think France will get in the semis, by the way. So hence all the Belgium and Brazils.
Yeah, quite an even split, which means it's going to be a cracking game because we've got that even split. Yeah. Samuel says, I think France will play Brazil. Jonathan Russell says Belgium. Man of the match has to be Griezmann. A goal and assist, says John Massey. It doesn't work like that. Surely you've got a little bit more depth than that, John.
And also the goal wasn't a goal, was it? Like, it wasn't.
We're not, I don't like that sort of reasoning. Oh, you score a goal, you get an assist, so that means you're man of the match. I think you've got to look a little bit deeper than that. I know sometimes it can be a big indicator, but I think Griezmann's been poor in this game. His goal was a fluke and his assist was a cross. I wouldn't go Griezmann myself, but if that's what you think, John, that's fine. Brazil, FIFA needs Brazil in the final, says Long Fat Dong. And Belgium from Palash and Matthias. Jonas says Pogba. I think he's talking about man of the match, but he'll definitely be in the semi-final as well. I think it's got to be someone from the midfield, yeah.
Was Mbappe on a yellow card before coming in? He wasn't, was he?
No. Selesh says Fellaini to get the winner tonight. Woo! I can see a scenario where he does come on the pitch, and I think he would cause... One thing about Brazil is that we talk about Neymar a lot, but actually Brazil are hard to score against. Their defence, especially their centre-back pairing of Silva and Miranda, and their goalkeeper, they're very good. Brazil are very good defensively as well as what they have in their attack. So that's going to be an issue as well. Brazil on penalties, says Jordan. No one's mentioned that yet, and I think penalties, this could be a real tough game to separate them.
I'd like a penalties in that game. I wouldn't like penalties in this game, but that game later would be nice for penalties, I think.
There's someone in the Uruguayan wall who's crying. Obviously know they're going out. Griezmann. Could have made himself man of the match if he'd scored that, but way over the bar.
He's not been very good this World Cup, has he, Griezmann? Because he's probably too far concentrated on that documentary he was making beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, it's Jimenez who's crying. Who's the centre-back we've got in. Active Dan says man of the match is the Uruguayan keeper. It was a free kick here for Uruguay. Can they make it 2-1, which was my prediction?
I mean, they might do, but if I'm honest, mate, look, this game's done now, isn't it? It's done. Uruguay aren't going to win. Could they make it 2-1? I doubt it, to be honest. I think they've just, as you saw there with Jimenez crying, they've been defeated. They know they're defeated. I doubt Uruguay will get one back, but it could happen. Twitter have just added a new feature, news for you. Isn't that? You see Luke Shaw like my tweet earlier?
Yes. I've had him like one of mine before a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's him. Is it him or is it someone who's controlling it? Because as we've seen with Lingard, he doesn't control his. A lot of these footballers don't control them, do they?
Give me it, Mark. Give me it.
I think he does.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it was when all the gay rumours were going out about Luke Shaw, and I tweeted something out saying it's a load of nonsense, and he liked it.
To be fair, we're not going to speculate. We're not going to speculate.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Jimenez crying either. Who says that there is?
No, but I just think all I'd say is I don't think it's nothing wrong with him crying, but for me, I'd like to see it after the game because look, that was 88th minute. You still got 7 minutes left at that point. 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
You should never say die. I'd like to see. It's essentially admitting defeat. Admit defeat after the game, but not during it. But that, yeah, there you go. Yeah, what do you think about United getting their first game against Leicester on Friday night?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I mean, first game of the season on a Friday night. Sky seem determined to force Friday night football on us. I don't think it works. I think Friday night will never work as a football night. I don't think Saturday night works with this 8 o'clock kickoff. But obviously they're looking at worldwide audience as well. But Friday night football, I think one night needs to be free of football. And we already have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday football. It's not done well in the Championship, and I don't think it's ever going to do well in the Premier League. I think it will do well in this one instance because it's
everyone's back. It's the first game back.
Yeah, it's the first game, isn't it? So,
but for me, the reason why I don't like Friday is because you play on Friday, and then by the time you play like on Sunday or whatever the next week, it feels like ages since you play, and you've got to go through the whole weekend. Other people playing, even though it's still interesting, you just don't feel like you play for ages by the time you play next weekend.
Well, United have got quite a few breaks actually because they play on the Friday, then they don't. Then the next weekend they play on a Sunday, so that's quite a big gap. And then the weekend after that they play on the Monday, so they're getting 8 days rest between each game. So
I quite like the Monday night one, to be honest. More because I like the analysis that they do on Monday Night Football, but.
Griezmann's coming off for Fekir. Tyrone Williams says Saturday's going to be a roller coaster. Is everyone ready? I think England are going to win it comfortably. I think they'll win it 2-0 or something like that.
Someone clip this up.
Yeah. When do England ever do it comfortably?
Exactly. Well, Panama, but there you go.
Michael Yeboah Boateng says Mark clearly doesn't really watch the game due to the chats because Griezmann aside, his goal has been really good. Yeah, Michael. So the live chats are there. Like 2 inches away is a big screen where the match is on, so I can do both because I've got 2 eyes. And I have watched this game, you cheeky little sod. And Griezmann's not been good in this game at all. I think he's been pretty bang average, and I think Conte's been better. Kante, not Conte. That would be mad if the Chelsea manager who retired years ago was Italian.
How they still haven't sacked him? That's a shambles, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is going on there? Everyone knows it's going to be Sarri. I don't know what the delay is all about.
I think it's all a bit technical.
Yeah. Is that maybe to do with Abramovich's work permit or something, do you reckon? Or
I don't know.
Work permit, was it visa or something like that?
I think it's to do with Sarri's severance package from Napoli, more likely. But I think the transfer window is going to go mad in a really short period of time because the English Premier League transfer window closes on August the 11th, which is virtually 4 weeks away, and nobody's done anything yet. So there's going to be a lot of business. It's just going to go mad. I think we're going to have days where there's like 2 or 3 big signings done in a day from different clubs.
You guys know where to be for all that, lads. You know where all to be. So it's here on That's Football. We're going to be live every day with Mark's daily show during the week, and then I'll be doing a slightly longer show, slightly more interactive, about half an hour in the evenings at 7:30. But also we'll be going live with immediate reactions to, as Mark says, big signings. So get subscribing. This is the place to be over the transfer window, but also going into next season. As Mark said earlier, we're going to be doing big watch-alongs and daily content on here. So get involved, get subscribing.
And I'll be live again tonight at 6:30 for Belgium-Brazil, so make sure you join me for that. In fact, the stream's already open. If you go to the homepage, the live chat's already open for that. This game is over. Andrew Ellis has said, did you hear that, Mark, that we United were not in for Ronaldo? I've not heard that officially yet. And if that's true, I'll be very, very angry, but I've not heard anything about that being official yet.
Guillaume Ballbag came out and said that was the case, didn't he? But
I don't agree
you know what he's like.
Moses says it's good to have hope, but be realistic and stay out of the clouds because the storm is coming, and that's Belgium, and the thunder is France. I don't really know what your point is, Moses, but thanks very much for the contribution. I think I'm going to interpret that you think that England might play Belgium or France in the final. But England have got a long, long way to get there yet. And as I've said, I'm very realistic. I'm not saying it's coming home. I'm just enjoying the ride, to be honest with you. And if they get to a semi-final, it'd be absolutely fantastic. It really will. Who scored for France, says Remien. So Varane with a flicked header in the first half, and then Griezmann, it is his goal, but it was an absolute carious moment by the Uruguayan goalkeeper. So 2-0 to France, and Uruguay just not having enough in the final third. Obviously no Cavani today, he was still injured. So not enough for Uruguay. They do go out. France were expected to go through. And your thoughts, Sander?
Bit of a dead rubber game, to be honest with you, mate. Bit of a midfield battle, chess match sort of thing. But I just think France has just had more quality, even though they didn't create much. They just edged it, didn't they? They just edged it. There wasn't too much in it, but I just think, France ground out the result, and Uruguay. It was weird, isn't it? They conceded from a set piece, which is the most unlikely thing we thought was going to happen. But there you go. They crash out, and I think France probably do deserve to go through. I think they probably were the better team on the day, but there wasn't too much in it. But there you go.
Yeah, thanks everyone who's been watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. I will be back at 6:30. The stream's already open if you want to just get involved in the chats for Brazil versus Belgium. Really looking forward to that. And also, let me just draw your attention to the app that's up on the screen, Team Huddle. Free to enter if you're in the UK. Link in the video description. It's basically a predictor league. Everybody who signs up for it will go in a draw to win an international shirt of your choice. Brazil, England, France, Belgium, Russia, whatever you want. Even Nigeria. Link in the video description for that. What am I doing? What'll happen is you predict for the semi-finals, and you can join my team, which is Team Goldbridge. So once you're in it, like all these good people, you can get predicting away, and we compete against each other, but we also compete as a team. There's a competition element as well, where if you put £1 in, it all goes into a big draw where you can win some money, which is a pot of 64.60 for the quarterfinals. Link in the video description for that. Remember, you've got to be over 18 if you're going to do that part of it, and do gamble responsibly. And you can also create your own teams as well. So if you wanted to compete against my team, you can do that. As long as you've got more than 3 people in your team, you can do that and create your own team. So link in the video description. Everyone who signs up goes into a draw to win an international shirt. So link in the video description. Join us at 6:30 for Brazil versus Belgium. Another one down, Uruguay down, France through to the semi-finals. I'll speak to you all soon, and thanks for coming on, Xander.
Cheers, mate. Always a pleasure. And I won't be watching it here, but it's going to be a great game tonight. So I'll speak to you soon, pal.
All right. Cheers, pal.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
And thanks, everybody, for watching. I shall see you all at 6:30 for Belgium versus Brazil.